is going on, my friends? Today we're making a really cool pair of low back bucket seats, these bomber style seats, and we'll be using what we call our imitation leather design. It's kind of a really nice soft material. It has a very leather-like feel and it has a nice texture to it, which I'll show you. We're just gonna go through and make it, and I'm gonna tell you all the pros and cons about using this material. And the reason we're doing this is because one of our subscribers has asked us to get more information about some of the materials we use, how to use them, what's the difference and all that. And as we stated in a previous video, it's much easier to show you on each individual product as we go rather than try to do a broad spectrum, because every material is so different, and this will kind of help out, hopefully. So let's begin. Okay, so we're gonna begin by cutting off the Savage here. I'm just going to go around here. I like to trim this pretty close to the thread line, usually about 1/8 of an inch away. You got to be careful. You touch the threads once and you're in for it. I'm just going to apply some adhesive here. This is a contact adhesive, so I'll put it on the back of the seat cover and then the foam. I'm going to get it a little wet, and then afterwards we're going to do a little tack coat, we call it, just to kind of reactivate it. You ever want to feel the differences in materials, just turn it inside out when you make a cover, because like this stuff moves so much easier. It stretches so much nicer than a lot of the materials we use. You can see it has a kind of a heavier grain on it, which is great. So the pros and the cons of this material is, the pros are it stretches easier, it looks really nice, it's softer, kind of has a little bit more of a leather feel than a vinyl. The cons are it scratches easier. And the cons with white is if it gets dirty, it's really tough to clean. And you'll see here, when these things go together, they're a really sharp looking seat. It's really important to always try to make sure all your seats and everything is centered. Crisp edge in here. If you look here, you can do it like this and it'll have a nice radius. A lot of people like that. I like it to have a little bit more crisp and pronounced. This material makes it really easy to do that. If this was our Zodiac material, which is the metal flake material, it's almost impossible to get a nice sharp edge because it's such a strong material. It's really hard to pull. So now we're going to heat it up. The heat gun's always your friend when you're using vinyls, especially when it's cold out. Always keep your hand there. It's too hot for your hand is too hot for the vinyl. Once you get that stretch going, pull it. Now you totally could just stretch this really hard without heating it. But you'll find that if you heat it up when you stretch it, it'll give you a little extra. So if you pull really hard without heating it up, sometimes it'll look nice, but then a month or two down the road, you might get a few wrinkles or wobbles here and there. But by heating it up and overstretching it, you'll get it really tight and it'll stay at that. Backs are a little bit of a pain. You got a big area to get warm. But it's amazing how fast the heat works. So you put your hand inside here and it's tight, and as soon as you start getting warm, as you can feel, it just really moves a lot easier. Now we're just going to grab this and slap it. That gets some staples in. One more thing. Switch to smaller staples. Okay, now we're going to go to the sides here. Get these nice and warm. we're going to do the cushion here. Let's do the same thing. We're going to go around, we're going to trim off the Savage. Gotta be really careful around these corners. Don't want to hit a thread. You do want to get those bumps out of there. So when you're using this material, you can feel the difference. Just moving it over the edges of everything, it flows so much nicer and easier. Whenever you're trying to stretch upholstery, you gotta do it really far. A lot of times you want to stretch it a lot, but not too much. Put a few staples in. You always do it right at the edge. If you do it up here, and for some reason you have to actually adjust it, you're gonna have holes there, so you always want your staples as far down as possible. But now by doing this, I can come here and extend this one a lot easier. And you see it move that much farther with ease versus stressing out. Now we'll do the same thing on this side. This one came down nice, right at the edge. Now we can remove these staples and redo the middle. Now we can stretch this easily. It goes right down and we'll make it even right across. So here is a completed seat of our SB low back bucket bomber seats in a horizontal stitch. Funny story is the way we actually came up with this pattern is one of the guys who used to work here part-time actually had a MGB GT and he wanted to make a pair of seats that would fit in that car and have that pattern. Once we did them, we realized they look really good and we started selling them, and now years later they're actually one of our top sellers. They're a very nice looking seat. They look great in a lot of vintage Italian sports cars or European sports cars. But this material here, you can see, has a heavier grain. It's a lot softer. It's a really nice feel. So if you're looking for more of a high-end look in your car, this is definitely the way to go. It's a very high quality, soft and supple look about them.